Oh, I would do anything for food, but I won't chew that. Oh no. What on earth are you doing in there? Come on out! So, welcome to episode 3 of the Mounjaro Diaries. I hope you're all well and enjoying life. If you watched my previous videos, I might sound like a scratch record, I know, but I am yet again blown away by the number of responses and comments I have received after the last release. Thank you. In today's video, I go for a walk. What a revelation, I hear you say. I know, but over the last few years, it would have been. I'll be doing a quick recap on the last video and address my dick.
Which one of you is looking for Big Dick?
I always thought you were fond of Dick.
Well, I was.
Apologies if you're new here. Dick is the abbreviation DYK for Did You Know section, where I think I inadvertently misled some people about my thoughts on protein. Protein is very important, especially from middle age onwards, so I will address that. I'm going to introduce you to another one of my mantras. This time it revolves around a specific number. It's not a big number, but it could have a big impact on you.
Oh, when will we get to know the number of the day? Oh.
Particularly in the first few months of changing your lifestyle for the better. It reflects something quite powerful for the mindset, I believe, and if you're just starting out, I really do think it might help. I've mentioned the power of walking before, and on the flip side, why I think 10,000 steps as a target is silly. You can get some amazing results even from a relatively relaxed pace if you have been leading a sedentary lifestyle like a lot of us have. Also today I will show you a useful app that helps you determine when you are walking at a brisk pace. I mean, after all, how do you know what that is? How do you know what a brisk pace is? And could you guess accurately how many miles an hour you are walking? A brisk pace will help elevate your heart rate, health and well-being, so I'll look at that with you as well. I am just a cat's whisker away from my next milestone, but before I get there I ought to refocus some of my video on the use of Mounjaro and specifically the side effects I've experienced.
Oh, I do feel queer.
And how best to address them. Hopefully you'll find that useful. And then finally, if my video isn't too long and sending everyone to sleep, I'm going to address my need to make a step change in my day-to-day routine in order to continue losing weight and fat, whilst at the same time increasing my fitness levels and health. It really is time for me to make a step change, and I'll tell you why. I might even have time to show you some of my meals and food prep I have been doing. We'll see.
Get in my belly!
Anyway, if you're still awake now, let's get on with the show. So I'm at it again. I'm trying to make a video, I'm taking hundreds of takes, and this time I even bought myself a teleprompter and scripter to try and help me stay on track. I don't know if this is going to show in the video, as I knock over all my stationery, but if you can see that, you can see I've got this nice great script here. It's fantastic looking, but me, I can't keep up, I go at the wrong speed, I miss lines, I've mistyped something even though I thought I checked it, yada yada yada. So the teleprompter is probably going to go back, and I need to go back to the drawing board. So until then, and I figure out some other better way of doing this, I'm just going to have to keep stop starting myself and try to get away. See, I'm doing it now without the prompter. I'm making mistakes.
God blimey, not again.
What I'm trying to do is make sure I get all the pertinent points across to you. That's what I'm trying to do, and the bits that I want you to know about. So you're going to have to forgive me still. It's video number 3, excluding my little video on Tasty Tuesdays. And if you haven't seen that, by the way, go and check it out. That's about me making meals each week and trying to highlight to you why I put them together and what kind of nutrients are in them and how useful that can be. Now, if my editing's got any better, when I go like this, or like this, or like that, or like that, somewhere on the screen might appear a link to that Tasty Tuesdays video. So if you haven't seen it, and the likelihood is you haven't because that only had 500 views or 350 or something rubbish anyway like that, then do check it out if you've got time. So I've tried to look at my script. I've tried using the teleprompter. It's useless. So I'm going to just try and do it now without reading the script. The script is not moving now, by the way. Look, there it is again. One more time. It's not moving. It's stuck there. Forget it. At the beginning of the video, I said I wanted to talk about, or recap rather, on my last video, and I did my great new section that I inventively called Dom's Dick, DYK, Did You Know?
I get it.
And one of the 3 points that I made was, that I had discovered, was about protein, and how I was amazed to find that protein, any unused protein in your body in a day, is turned to fat because your body can't keep hold of the protein. That's factually correct, but I think I inadvertently led to quite a few people, judging by the comments I got, to believe or think that I was therefore reducing the amount of protein I was consuming because I was concerned it would turn to fat. And that is not, categorically not the case whatsoever. It was just an interesting fact I wanted to share with you. So park that one up if you want to. Protein is obviously really, really important for us. And it's important for us for so many reasons. And now I'm going to have to try and remember it because obviously I'm no longer reading a teleprompter. I'm not going to remember all the points. Some of them you'll be very familiar with anyway, no doubt. So protein, particularly from the age of 30 or 40 onwards, is really important to us because apparently we lose X percentage of our muscle tissue every year, every decade going forwards from sort of beginning of middle age, 40-ish. That's not middle aged, is it really? Anyway, that's what I read in several places. Protein is also really, really, really good for us because it keeps us feeling fuller for longer, and it's obviously more than just about building and maintaining muscle. It does all sorts of things and supports many, many functions in our body. But primarily when you're also on a weight loss journey, your body is tempted and could well be taking energy from your protein sources, and your protein sources are your muscles.
What you talking about, Mr. D?
And therefore you might get more muscle deterioration while you're doing a weight loss program, as I am, and as you probably are or considering doing because you're watching these videos. So it's really important. It's really important to increase it the older we get, and it's doubly important to increase it even further when you're on a weight loss journey. And coming up in the video, I'll be talking about how I now need to introduce doing some weightlifting and things, which apparently is recommended for everybody who's middle-aged or older anyway, but you don't really see about it or learn about it every day. If you go digging, you find out about these kind of things, which is another reason why I like to make these YouTube videos and share this sort of thing. So right now, my prompter has not been moving, and I can't remember what I was going to say next.
Do not adjust your set. There is a fault in the script.
So I'm going to have to pause it, check my notes, and start all over again. Well, not start all over again. God, no, don't start all over again. Start on my next section. Wait right there. I need to drink some liquid. I haven't got any liquid. I'm so dry mouthed when I do this. Another point I made in my Dick section was about 10,000 steps a day and how I felt that that target number was a bit arbitrary. Definitely you need to do more than 5,000 steps a day if possible, because anything less than 5,000 days, anything less than 5,000 steps a day would be regarded as being quite a sedentary lifestyle. That's what I'm trying to avoid and trying to get out of doing, trying to get out of being someone who's in a sedentary lifestyle. This is what happens when you don't use a teleprompter, honestly.
Great big stupid ape.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere at the phrase. Only thing is it's 5 AM rather than 5 PM here, or will be in about 10 minutes time. I'm coming towards the end of my night shift. I was determined to get my walk in before it's over, stretch my legs, get the blood flowing, heart pumping, fresh air, listen to the birds, be outside. Now the NHS, they recommend 150 minutes of moderate to vigorous exercise per week. So guess what? 7 days a week times 20 minutes walking at moderate or vigorous pace, get the heart rate running up, is 140 minutes in a week. So there's only 10 minutes left. So just do a couple more minutes here and there during the week, and you've achieved that goal. And I think it's a much better goal to have 150 minutes moderate exercise or better in a week, rather than focusing and worrying about 10,000 steps, which I mentioned in my last video I've always felt was a bit of a nonsense. And turns out it probably is. I'm 50 years old, I've been morbidly obese, which is slowly coming down now, luckily. If you ask me to, see what animal that is. Oh, he's pounced for something. He's caught it, whatever it is. Oh, he's got his breakfast. What's he? Oh, it's running away from him. Stop staring at me, eat your breakfast. It's a good spot. Yeah, I'm still looking at you.
Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on.
So since February, when I took my first Mounjaro injection, I made myself a pact that I would come out and walk every day if I could, or if I couldn't do it every day, at least on the days I work, because I work 6 days in a row and then have 3 days off. So that seems to balance out quite nicely. And it's the best thing I've ever done. It's the best thing I've done in years.
Ding dong, you're not wrong.
I walk for about 20 minutes. I'm very lucky in some respects. My workplace is slap bang in the middle of an area of outstanding natural beauty. Either before or after this, I'll have spoken to you about, or will be speaking to you about, the NHS and its app called Active 10. And that helps you work out the correct speed you need to do to be walking at the equivalent pace of a brisk pace, which is around about 3 miles an hour. But who's got a clue whether you're walking 3 miles an hour or not? So it's a really good app. It's very useful. And I'll share that with you and show you how to set it up. So once you found Active 10 and installed it on your smartphone, it'll take you through some simple steps. First one is, it's obviously going to ask you what is brisk. This is what's going to help you find out what brisk walking is. Every minute counts of walking you're doing a day, but obviously brisk is better. Thank you very much for that obvious note. Aim for 10 or more minutes of brisk walking each day. Okay, thank you very much. Let's get walking. You need to acknowledge a few prompts. Do you want to add a custom motivation? Let it know what you want to do this for. Improving your mood, you've been diagnosed with a health condition, etc. You're forced to answer these, I think. Let it know or not what sex you are, and then set your targets. That's quite an important one. Just stick with 10, I'd say, to start off with for the first few months. And then we come to the important part. Try Pace Checker now. When you come to Pace Checker, it's going to test your walking speed for 60 seconds. And shortly you'll see like a round button pulsing to every step that you take, and it's going to measure it. You need to keep your phone unlocked, obviously, while you're doing this. You'll probably want to look at the screen anyway. So here we go. Here's the Pace Checker. I click start, I start walking, and as you can see there, every pulse that you're seeing on the screen there is me taking a footstep. Don't worry, I'm not going to make you wait for 50 seconds to watch all this. I'm going to speed it up a little bit here, just to show you what happens. You get to the end result, obviously, and then presto, are you brisk walking or not? Turns out on that occasion I was. And I have noticed now, after 5 months, my weight loss journey so far, I do have to walk either faster or further and faster to get my heart rate up.
Every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better.
I can't count my 20-minute walk at work towards my 150 minutes because of my elevated heart rate. So I'm at least doing moderate exercise. And going back to my favourite number. What is the number? So this is the mantra, the magic number that I've come up with. The number is...
Yes, 4 is the number of the day!
But it's as a percentage point, 4%. The true answer to a question I asked myself was 4.1666. So I rounded it down to 4, which I think is quite fair. So it's 4%. So why 4%? What on earth am I banging on about, Dominic? So it doesn't sound like a lot of anything, I hope you will agree. It doesn't sound like a lot to me, 4% of something. And that's because it isn't. 4% is not a lot. But there are 24 hours in a day, in your day and my day. That doesn't change for anybody. And 4%, or 4.1666, 4% of 24 hours happens to be 1 hour. Just 1 hour. And 1 hour might sound like a lot, or a tough ask when you're leading a busy lifestyle, I suppose. But if, on the other hand, you suggest to yourself you take just 4% of your entire day to dedicate to your well-being, it sounds far more manageable, I would hope. I mean, I think it does anyway. So the best bit about 4% of my 4% dedication per day is it's not an hour of exercise. I've been dedicating 20 minutes of that hour, or 4% of my day, to exercise, and that has been walking. And it's largely been from walking the whole time. The other 40 minutes of my 1 hour a day, or 4%, is spent on preparing all 3 meals I have each day. So that's breakfast, lunch, and dinner, obviously. It's not 40 minutes all in one go, but it could be if need be. And I found this to be the optimum time, or an optimum amount of time that I need to spend, for me personally, to really focus in on what my needs are throughout the day. Just don't do too much too soon. You'll regret it. But moving through the 6 months mark and beyond, I know I'm going to need to up my game exercise-wise, otherwise I'll plateau. In fact, thinking about it, I have already plateaued. I think now here I am in month 5. If you're watching my videos because your background is similar, I heartily recommend some of my methods. I'm not a doctor though, okay? I'm not a medical advisor. I'm purely sharing my experiences. So I'm nearly 6 stones worth, or 84 pounds, or 38 kilograms more successful than before I started to try and do my weight loss journey. And that's since February. I've done the occasional cycle ride on my flash new exercise bike, which I would have done far more of, but a rather painful side effect of taking Mounjaro has stopped me in my tracks with that, and I'll come on to more of that in a bit, so there's something to look forward to. Preparing breakfast, that takes all of 2 minutes out of my 4%, or 1 hour a day. And I've been religiously eating a bowl of all bran every day because of the humongosaurus levels of fibre it contains. 30% of my daily fibre needs is met from eating that bowl of cereal. And 30 grams of fibre a day is the recommended amount for adults in the UK, and I'm pretty sure the US and other Western countries too. And I'm getting over 10 grams from this bowl alone. In fact, I think it's about 11.8 possibly. And if you are or will be taking Mounjaro or Ozempic or any other weight loss drugs in the future or now, I cannot emphasize enough how important fibre is, not only because it's fantastically good for our health and digestion in particular. We don't eat enough, nearly enough anyway, but also to help avoid, here it comes, constipation. Constipation. This is my side effect, one of 2 side effects I've had. I have never had constipation before in my life, but Mounjaro slows down digestion and keeps food in your gut for longer. So the risks of getting a bit of compensation, I've just done it again. I can't tell you how many times I've had to edit that one word out already. So the risks of getting a bit of constipation absolutely rockets, which incidentally is another one of many reasons why you should increase your water intake too to help with that. And this is why I haven't been on my exercise bike as much as I would have liked to have been, and I wanted to show you lots of lovely videos about that, because constipation, it turns out, can leave you with a really sore bum. And by the way, don't go getting upset with me because I'm talking so candidly. I promised you, and you at the back there, I promised you I'd share the good and the bad with you, and that's all that I'm doing. But incidentally, when I talk about my exercise bike, I'm wishing good luck and biking journeys to a lovely couple who follow my videos. Trudy and her husband saw my exercise bike in my last video and asked me for some feedback about it. And they've only gone out and bought that same one. And I can't tell you how bad I'll feel if it doesn't match up to their expectations. So Trudy, do let me know how you're getting on. I might do a little feature on it in the future, as it does truly remove the blandness of a normal exercise bike routine in almost every way. So far I have cycled through the Mojave Desert, I've ridden past a volcano's lake in Norway, and I've taken a trip over a very long bridge in Japan. And I've even cycled past an old heroes of mine, Wyatt Earp's home in California. Just before I head out the door for a walk, I just remember what my other side effects were. I've already talked about constipation. And here's another one that involves bums. Sorry, honestly, I'm not infatuated with bottoms, and definitely not my own anyway. But I discovered that the weight loss obviously affects you everywhere, all over your body. And I was getting a sore bum. I was getting a sore bum every time I sat down. It didn't matter whether I sat down on a cushion, I sat on a nice comfy sofa, an office chair at work. It didn't matter where I was. After a few minutes, I started getting really bad aches and pains in my bum. And then I realised it was because of the weight loss and the fat loss around the buttocks. So that took a bit of getting used to as well, but that's gone now, luckily, as well. And then the third one, which didn't really occur to me at all, I had to Google this when I had a little sneaky suspicion in the back of my mind, was I was getting a lot of backache, particularly lower backache. I didn't have any of that when I had this massive, morbidly obese belly in front of me. Don't worry, I've still got a belly, it's just not that massive anymore, luckily. And that was, I was getting this lower backache. And I was like, why do I keep getting backache? I thought this would improve. And then I realised, of course, is my centre of gravity is changing. Because I don't have a belly sticking out quite as far as it used to, and I'm getting lighter in myself, my back is having to readjust itself. And my positioning when I sit down on a seat is all different because I don't have this massive fat belly in front of me anymore. Still got the belly, just not so massive. And that was giving me the backache, but luckily that's now improving as well. So maybe I'll get some more of the, gradually, the more weight I lose. But lower back pain, bum pain from sitting down, bruised coccyx, and constipation. There you go. Anyway, as I nearly always do, I'm getting carried away. So back to my 4% mantra. 20 minutes of walking every day. 40 minutes of meal prep. I usually spend around 20 minutes preparing a salad every day, which is accompanied by some form of protein. So I'll often use steak, prawns, oily fish like mackerel or salmon, and more often than not a chicken breast. But incidentally, a nice seasoned chicken breast only takes 20 minutes in the air fryer. So while that's cooking away nicely and staying all nice and moist, hopefully, I'm preparing my salad. My other meal would typically be a tuna sandwich for more protein and fibre from the bread, or some eggs with some spinach and some mushrooms or smoked salmon. So again, the time required is quite low. I'm trying to keep things as simple as possible, but always focusing on nutrition. So have a think about it. And remember to tell your busy self just 4.
The number of the day is 4.
4% of your day is required to make really good progress at improving your health and your well-being in the early stages of turning things around, like I have, or have been doing, I should say. At least for the first sort of 5 to 6 months. If you are morbidly obese and you haven't been doing any exercise at all, or very little, then I think 20 minutes a day is perfect. And I can't tell you how much better I feel physically and with my mental health as well to a degree by doing all the walking outdoors that I've been doing. I cannot tell you. The pain in my knees have gone, the flexibility's come back, and it's just the small little things that make a big difference when they suddenly occur to you out the blue. So I was at work, I think it was the other day, and I picked my foot up without using my hands and rested it on my right thigh. So my left foot on my right thigh. So I basically crossed my leg so that I could tighten my shoelace before I go out for the walk. And as embarrassing as it is to say this, that was like a revelation to me. Because 5 months ago, 6 months ago, I wasn't able to do that and hadn't been able to do that for a long time. Not just because of the fat around my waist getting in the way, but because my flexibility was really poor and my muscle strength was really poor and my tendons were really tight because I hadn't been doing any walking. And I can do it with my worst leg as well, my right leg, which has been really poor when I had an injury on my knee, and that one, I can do that one as well. So out of the blue, all of a sudden, I'm not even thinking about it. I've lifted my foot up, I've tightened my lace, and in the past, that would have been a real chore, almost impossible to do. I would have to take some real effort. I would have to use my hands to lift my foot up on my leg, and so on and so forth. So please do give it a try if you're not already. And that's 2 hot tips from me now over 2 videos. So this and my milestones versus goals suggestion, I think I'm going to have to start charging you lot an entry fee for the next screening. The number 4, I've already spoken about it in theory. It's part of your 4% day. Just 4%, remember? It's amazing when you think about it like that.
Keep taking the tablets.
I think so anyway. Just 4% of my day. And I can do my 20 minutes I need for 7 days a week for 140 minutes a week. Chuck in a couple of minutes here and there to hit the 150 target. And I've got 40 minutes left of that 4% to prep my meals. Don't need any more than that. Might be able to do it in less than that. But I find it works really well for me, and I think you should give it a try. And if you do, let me know in the comments, please, because I think it's marvellous. It's going to be a lovely day. It's going to be a lovely day. And I love being able to walk around here. Except for the ticks I keep seeming to pick up. And I've run out of breath at just the right time to stop this recording and get back to work. Laters. Right, gang, I've run out of time, like I have done every other video I've made so far, so I'm not really going to have time to talk about my step change that I know I need to make, and I'm planning on starting any day now. So that will be one of the main focus points of my next video. I'm also going to talk about some really serious stuff as well, depression and mental health, and how a better nutrition intake, better health in general and things can really help with the mind and cope with things. But unfortunately I did have to have my dog put down about 2 months into my start of this journey with weight loss and Mounjaro and everything else like that. It was obviously a very sad time for me, but I think I got over it better, more comfortably, and certainly quicker because of my general well-being and the way I feel. So I'm going to touch upon that in the next video too. But until then, stay healthy. I'm sure you're watching lots of other videos on there on YouTube. Enjoy those. Lots of people doing lots of similar things. But I do appreciate you watching me. You know, it's still very, very different for me to be sharing a major thing of my life with general members of the public. So thank you again. And I'll see you next time.